Hello, greetings, and salutations. Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience seeing the Jacksonville Jaguars. This was going back a few years, just right after COVID in 2021. We were still kind of getting out of COVID. And it was a part of a weekend that I did right after getting off a cruise. Pretty exciting for me when I can be able to combine my two passions, being able to go on a cruise as well as go to some games. I was very excited about that trip, and I look forward to telling you about the day I went and saw the Jacksonville Jaguars. Before I get into that, though, I'm going to do a little housekeeping. First off, if you would like to go on vacation, specifically a cruise, which is my specialty, or perhaps you'd like to go see a game, maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars, you can reach out to me in a couple different ways. One way is through social media. I have both an Instagram and Facebook account, and they're both the same handle, Jay's Paradise Travels. That's Jays, no apostrophe in there. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me through Facebook or Instagram, or you could reach out to me through email. My email address for my business is j.paradise.travels@gmail.com. One more time, that is j.paradise.travels@gmail.com. All right, now that that's out of the way, let me go ahead and talk about my experience with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Once again, uh, this was coming off a cruise. So uh, back in 2021, uh, myself, my wife, my mom and dad, we went down to Florida. We got on the Carnival Mardi Gras, was able to spend a nice vacation there on that cruise. And we took that out of Port Canaveral. And we got some family that lives there. My grandparents live there, uncle, aunt. They live in that area. So we were able to visit them, see them, be able to go on the cruise. Afterwards, the cruise was from like Saturday to Saturday. And as soon as we got in to Port Canaveral, um, me and my dad went to go see the Florida Gators. That was pretty cool. That's on another podcast. And then the next day, which was Sunday, me and my dad again went to go to another football game. This time we got to see the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they're not exactly in the same city, right? One's in Gainesville, one's in Jacksonville. We were staying in Port Canaveral area where the cruise ship is. So it's not exactly like right in the same vicinity. It is a little bit of a drive, but still manageable, still within a day. It's not like we had to drive 7 hours away or anything like that from where we were staying. It probably was like maybe a 2 or so hour drive. Not too bad. My uncle was nice enough to let us borrow his work truck to be able to go up there and see both of those games. Again, Florida Gator experiences in another podcast. Today, I'm talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville, not that I got to spend a lot of time in the city because we basically just went there for the game itself and came back. But I did think that was kind of a nice city from what I could see. We drove up there again, at least a 2 hour drive or so. It was just me and my dad, my mom, and my wife stayed back. They hung out at the condo, and we got there, and we parked a ways away. I want to say at least a mile away. It could have been anywhere between 1 mile to 2 miles away. And I'm okay walking. I don't mind walking. We could have done it, um, especially after after getting off a cruise and eating so much food. Walking a mile or two is probably a good thing to do. But my dad didn't really want to walk the distance, and that's okay. It's understandable, especially since it's very hot in Jacksonville. So we hired like some sort of, I don't remember if they were on, it was like a bike type of system with a bike that is carrying 4 or 5 people, or if we rented like a little golf cart of some kind. But we hired somebody that, I've seen this a lot of different games where you can have some sort of like little transportation such as that I don't know, maybe 20 bucks a person or something like that, and they'll bike ride you over. They'll transport you over there somehow, so you don't have to walk the distance. That's what we ended up doing. Um, I can't remember what mode it was, if it was like a golf cart or if it was a bike. It was like one of those type of things. And I can't remember if we shared it with anybody else either. Either way, though, that's what we used. So we kind of bypassed some traffic and uh, people walking until we got up to the stadium. Now, approaching the stadium, and I mean, it was convenient to do that. Approaching the stadium, I look at it, there it is. I do my normal thing. I take pictures of the outside because that's something I always want to do. My hobby is taking pictures of the outside as well as inside. So I was able to get some pictures of the outside of the stadium, the name of the stadium, which has since changed. Um, they had home of the Jaguars on their building as well. I was able to take pictures actually approaching the game, and then later on, as after the game when we were leaving, I was able to get some pictures again, just coming back. Coming back after the game, little different. I mean, we still hired somebody, but it took forever. I don't know if it was just because everyone was exiting all at once. There was a lot of traffic out there. Whatever it was, we had to wait quite a bit. At a certain point, I'm thinking we could have just walked this and probably got there at the same time. But again, I mean, super hot. Uh, my dad didn't feel like walking, and I get it. It would have been a difficult walk in the heat. So we did wait, but we had to wait a long time to do it. Eventually, though, it did happen. We did eventually did get, I don't know, maybe anyway, half hour to an hour we waited, something like that. It was a while. Um, so we got on that, but as I said, as we were leaving, I was able to maybe take another picture of it. I tried to get a picture after we got on out of there, one of the bridges, exiting kind of from afar. Um, it wasn't the greatest picture in the world, but I was able to get one. They got a couple bridges in the area, which I actually thought was pretty nice. So when we got into the stadium, um, worked our way up to where our seats were, and they had up there in the upper concourse area a view, an opening where you could view the city, view the water, and they had a couple different bridges, one on one side, one on another side. I took pictures of both of them, and then I tried after that getting like a panoramic shot of it all. Um, I did my best with it, anyways. Nice view. Of course, when you go to any stadium, you're going up high, and then all of a sudden you can see the city, and it's a nice view. I did enjoy that, and then coming back afterwards, as I mentioned, there was a lot of traffic getting out of there, as is the case normally with an NFL game. Once we got though onto that bridge to get to the other side of the water and move our way onwards back towards where we were heading, then the traffic kind of eased up after that, and it wasn't too bad from there. Um, yeah, so that was kind of the experience with that. And then as regards the game itself, Jacksonville came in winless at the time. They were 0-4. And spoiler alert, they did not get their first victory in that game. Not even close. Well, I shouldn't say not even close. They did kind of keep it a little tight in the first half, but ultimately Tennessee won. They were playing the Tennessee Titans. Kind of cool to be able to go and see a division game. Of course, there's always going to be a little something extra when it comes to division matchups. I appreciate being able to do that. But yeah, they weren't great that year. That was not a great year for them. Um, and a minute into the game, they fumble the ball. Tennessee picks it up, scores a touchdown. Typical for Jacksonville. They're down 7-0 to start. Okay, down 7-0, but they actually do respond. They go 75 yards in only 5 plays, so that was pretty good. They finish it off by scoring a 1-yard touchdown run by James Robinson. All right, they're on the board. Nice response. And then they don't get the extra point. I can't remember if they missed an extra point or if they missed a 2-point conversion or what happened, but either way, again, typical Jacksonville. They were losing at the time. Not great. So even when they responded, they didn't even tie the game. It was 7-6. And that was at the end of the first quarter. 7-6 first quarter. Going into the second quarter, Derrick Henry, um, great running back out of Alabama. He scores a touchdown, a 1-yard run. Now that capped off an 11-play, 79-yard drive that took just under 5 minutes to do. Pretty impressive. Another 1 yard run for that made it 14-6. But Jacksonville once again did respond. I give them credit. Again, the first part of the first half, they did okay. So Trevor Lawrence, who I was kind of excited to see live, that was kind of nice. Number one pick, did very well at Clemson. He responds by driving them down 70 yards and 9 plays in just over 5 minutes to do it. So almost tit for tat there when it comes to the drives and responding. He gets a 1 yard pass touchdown to Hollister to make it 14-13. That was like three straight 1 yard touchdowns, either a 1 yard run or a 1 yard touchdown pass to make it 14-13. So close game, thinking, all right, close game. Maybe they got a shot at winning this. And then that was the closest it was going to get from there. Before the end of the half, Tannehill threw a touchdown pass. They added on a field goal, so they were up 24-13 at halftime. And you're thinking, okay, 11 points. It's still within reach, but we'll see what happens. Sure enough, third quarter, Henry runs for another touchdown, the second of the game. And Jacksonville did not respond at all. So now you're looking at 17 points that they didn't respond to make it 31-13. At the end of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, they exchange touchdowns. Derrick Henry gets his third rushing touchdown of the game. That's impressive enough. And I think he's from the area or something like that. If I remember, it was like a homecoming for him almost. And then Trevor Lawrence, as impressive a quarterback as he is, he also has got some legs. He ran for a touchdown as well to make it 37-19. And that ended up being the final. 37-19, the Tennessee Titans defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars that day. Okay, I was a Jaguars fan for a day, and they didn't win. Oh, well, that's okay. I still had a nice time at the game, and I appreciate being able to go, as I always do. Wasn't going to lose any sleep over that. That's for sure. Um, as regards to the stadium itself, they play at a stadium. At the time, it was TIAA Stadium. I have no idea what that is. I'm guessing it's either a bank or a financial institution. I feel like that is the case with a lot of these stadiums. Businesses that I've never heard of and probably won't do business with at any point because maybe it's either local to them or whatever. So yeah, whatever that is. But now it's called Everbank. So I'm guessing it's a bank. But I don't recall seeing an Everbank up here in the Detroit, Michigan area. So once again, probably one that some company that I'll never use. I can't get excited for a stadium's name such as that. Just can't do it. Um, Good for them, I guess. And even Everbank, once the naming right contract runs out, who knows if they'll keep it and they'll switch it to some other bank or some other financial institution or some insurance company or some mortgage company, whatever. Uh, yeah, so it is what it is. So that was the stadium. The stadium itself is a nice stadium. I like that they had two big scoreboards on both ends. That was cool to see. Their capacity is 67,838 when I looked it up. All right, that's nice. Big NFL stadium. That's kind of typical. The attendance, though, showed 58,282. Now, that one I kind of question a little bit, not going to lie. Jacksonville was winless. They remained winless after the game we went to, and I looked around. I didn't see a packed house because 58,000 out of 67,000. That's pretty packed for the most part. I didn't quite see that. In fact, I think we even were able to like move down and kind of sit. I mean, we were in our same section. We didn't like go down to the front row of the stadium or anything like that. But where we were up, however high we were, I think we went down a little bit and was able to even move a little closer. And there was two people. I remember there was a couple in front of us as well that they only stayed for like the first half. They moved and they left. Like, all right, we sat there. Um, yeah, so it wasn't overly packed. Uh, as I mentioned, it is on the water, so you're going to get some nice view from that. And it's the only, speaking of water, it is the only NFL stadium out there that actually has a pool inside the stadium. We walked by it. So when we came in, we were, of course, this is how it always is with me. Wherever I come into a stadium, my seats are going to be on the opposite side. It's like going into the airport. Wherever I'm at in the airport, my gate is going to be at the very end. It's just always what happens. Just whatever. Uh, so we were in at the other side of the stadium. We get in, we have to walk across, the stadium, come around the stadium. And as we're doing it, we're coming across one of the end zones and get to see the scoreboard. And there it is. I mean, you can look at it. There's the pool, and I'm like, okay. I didn't bring my swimming suit. Not that I'm going to go swimming. Not even if I didn't know about it, but even if I did, I'm not a big get into a get into the pool kind of guy. I'm not a big water guy. Um, but the fact that it was there, I thought was pretty interesting, pretty unique. That is incredibly unique. No other uh, NFL stadium, and I don't even think if I were to look into it, I don't even think any college stadiums have a pool inside the stadium. Uh, so that was kind of interesting. It's not free though. I will say that if you want to go and you want me to book this for you, I'll be happy to do it. And if you do want to go into that pool, it's not free. I don't know the cost. I'd have to look into it. I forgot what it was. It didn't seem like it was inexpensive either. It wasn't like $5. I think it does cost you. But from what I could tell, I mean, it was like being at a pool party. Bunch of people in there. There's a bar, drinks, that type of stuff. Um, so, I mean, if that's your speed, if that's your scene, I'm sure you'd love it. And especially if you love that type of scene, plus being at an NFL game, you love it even more, right? Uh, yeah. So that was unique when it comes to their stadium, and then just some miscellaneous things uh, in regards to the Jacksonville Jaguars or that area or whatever. One of the things I thought was kind of really unique, they kept screaming Duval. And I was like, what are they saying? I don't even know what that is. What is that? Why do they keep saying that? Apparently, and if you're a Jaguars fan, you definitely know what this is, what it's referring to. I didn't. Um, Duval is the county that Jacksonville is in. Okay. That's unique. I have never heard any NFL team scream out the county, not the city, the county of where their football team is. The Detroit's in Wayne County. Never have I ever heard any one of the Lions ever scream out Wayne and pick another city. I don't know, wherever. That is completely unique. Why they is there an attachment to the county? Is the county an extremely nice county to live in? If you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan and you know the answer to this, please let me know. Write it in the comment section or something. Because why? why is why do you why the county and not the city? It's not the Duval Jaguars, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is it just Jacksonville's too many syllables? Jacksonville, I mean, it's three. It's a long name, but it's only three. I don't know. Duval's only two. I don't know. I just, I got a kick out of that. That was very amusing to me. Not, in a, and this is not me making fun of it in any way. Please understand that. It's a more of a, I, I don't get it. That's very unique. Why exactly? That kind of thing. Um, I'd be very interested to know how that came up. That they scream out the county and not the city's name. Okay, so that's a little unique. And then let's see here. Oh, a friend of mine that was in this area. I've known him for many years. He did move down to Jacksonville since then. Not he wasn't there at that time. He moved down since then. Him and his wife, and they got some kids as well. Um, I've talked to him here and there recently, which is kind of nice. Sometimes people move away and you lose touch, but thankfully we've been able to keep up. Not that we talk all the time, but here and there. And at one point, I don't know if he still does this, but at one point he was working with a company that worked at the stadium. I don't know if they necessarily worked at the games, but maybe did something else. Um, so when I told him, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I've been there. I've been to a game there. I think he has too." Uh, that's kind of nice. So, and also too, just FYI with this as regards it on the water, Carnival does port out of Jacksonville too. So again, if you're looking to go on a cruise or something, you can let me know and I can book you a cruise out of Jacksonville. I didn't where I was. We were out of Cape Canaveral. We didn't go out of Jacksonville. Just ended up going to the game. But yeah, they do go out of there too. So you could do if you wanted to try doing a football game on a cruise like I did, let me know. Um, and then we recently drove through Jacksonville, me and my dad. My grandparents ended up moving permanently to Florida. They were kind of like snowbirds. They would live up here during the summertime, go down there in the wintertime. But they needed their car, and they're a little up in age, hard to drive from Michigan to Florida. Uh, Thus, me and my dad ended up driving their car down for them, and we took 75 down straight, and then cut over on I-10 over towards Jacksonville, and then took that down. I think it's 77, the highway there. Anyway, but we passed through it. I was trying to see if I could see the stadium as we were passing by. Uh, couldn't quite see it, but I did ask. It's like, hey, do you mind if I looked it up on my phone? I was like, do you mind if we stop at Goodwill? Because I'd like to see if I can find a Jacksonville Jaguars shirt. And like, all right, it wasn't too big of a detour. We got off one of the exits, went down, I don't know, mile and a half. There it was. I went to, there was one store that I went to and was able to find it. I found a few Jacksonville Jaguar shirts that were available. I ended up going with this one. I can just show it on my chest and see it on the camera. And yeah, okay. So here's the shirt. I was able to get it from there. I couldn't since then. I mean, I wasn't able to find one up in this area. You never know when you go into a Goodwill store or any type of thrift store what teams you'll come across. I mean, that's what I'm doing anyways. Um, but if you're in the area, you're gonna have a better chance of getting a local team, which for the podcast purposes, I wanted to be able to get one. I was able to stop there, find one. Cool. And I think I found a couple other shirts. Actually, interesting when we little side story with this, but going down there, I stopped at one store in Jacksonville and was able to pick up three shirts. Later on, when we got to Florida, where my grandparents lived, they were flying in that day, so we had some time to kill between the time we got there and by the time they were coming in. And I ended up going to three different stores, and out of three different stores, picked up one. So one store, three shirts. Three stores, one shirt. Go figure. Anyways, yeah, and there was that, and then one little, you know what? There's this little side story I was gonna relate, but I can't remember if it was the Jacksonville Jaguars or if it was the Carolina Panthers. But oh, well, you know what? Okay, fine. When I was a little kid, I want to say I was anywhere like 8 years old, something like that. I was hanging out with a friend of mine, him and his little brother, and the mom had to go to the store. All right, we go to the store, and while there, like going in line, they had some hats, and I think one of them was the Jacksonville Jaguars hat that she bought for one of her sons. I think they both each got a hat. I didn't get a hat. I mean, I wasn't their child. Um, but the amount of like sadness, almost like jealousy within myself because they got a hat and I didn't. I didn't I didn't express it. I didn't vocalize that I was upset about it. But deep down, it bothered me a lot. I look back on it and I'm laughing at it. It's like so silly. But I think one of them was the Jacksonville Jaguars, if I remember correctly. I don't think it was like either the Carolina Panthers or it might have been one of each, come to think of it now. Maybe it was one of each. Anyway, so yeah, they got these hats, and I wasn't even a fan of the team. Just the fact that they got it and I didn't was just upsetting to me when I was 8 years old. Like, man, they got a hat, I didn't get a hat. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that was my experience with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that year too, like I said, they were winless. Uh, coming going into that game, they were 0-4. They lost that game, they were 0-5, not looking great. This was the year that they had Urban Meyer. Now, of course, if you know me, I work at Michigan and U of M. Urban Meyer coached at Ohio State. Prior to that, he coached at Florida, which we had seen the day before. Um, so, being a Michigan guy, he's not exactly my most favorite person in the world. Uh, yeah, and for diehard Michigan fans that truly can't stand the guy, dislike him, I mean, they reveled in seeing him not do great in the NFL. I don't even think he lasted the full season. Uh, they did end up winning two of the next three games after that. One of I think they were in. They were not in Miami. They played Miami, um, but that was like in a neutral site game. And I remember he did. It was like a last second field goal, and he did one coaching move. I remember watching the game at my in-laws because we went to my in-laws right after we left Jacksonville. My parents went home. We originally were going to go home, but we ended up going to Virginia to visit my in-laws, and I caught a Virginia Tech game, which again, another podcast on that one. But while we were visiting them, I do remember having that game on because I was thinking, I just saw this team, and there was one coaching move that was pretty smart that he did that ended up getting them in field goal range to get a last second kick to win the game against Miami. Again, I don't remember where that was played, but it was a neutral site game. And then 2 weeks later, they played Buffalo and beat them too. And then they finished off with a win against Indianapolis. So they were like 3-13 that year. I don't think they had 17 games at that point. 3-13. But again, I mean, there was so much like stuff that he had gotten into and some controversy regarding him that I don't even think I think he got fired before the season ended, if I remember correctly. That or maybe either way, he didn't last past one season. If he did finish the season, he didn't last past that. Jacksonville, for the most part, uh, not always the greatest team. They're usually kind of around near the bottom, but there's been a few times that they've risen up and did pretty well, and but those aren't too often. Usually they're kind of more struggling. um, and I don't know, maybe they thought because Urban Meyer did so well in college, and he had coached at Florida, which is not too far from there, that that would be a good marriage, a good match, but ended up not being. Yeah, lasted at the longest a season, and I don't even really think he lasted that. I think he got fired before the season ended. Yeah, so that was that year. I got to see Trevor Lawrence live. He was a great quarterback. Like I said, he did a lot of good things at Clemson. I enjoyed watching him at Clemson. Got to see him live, and got to see Urban Meyer lose. Not that I'm that type of Michigan fan, where I have that type of animosity towards the Buckeyes or Buckeye people or fans or anything. I don't take it that serious. Maybe at one point before I was, but as I've gotten older, it's more of just it's not the end of the world. Whatever happens out there. Anyways, so yeah, that was my experience with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast. Hope you took something away, learned something from it. Again, if you would like to go see the Jacksonville Jaguars, if you would like to go on vacation, specifically a cruise, again, they do. Carnival does cruises out of Jacksonville. If you want to try to get maybe both in one vacation or anything else, let me know. Once again, you can reach out to me through social media. My Instagram and Facebook are both the same. Jay's Paradise Travels. That's Jays, no apostrophe in there. Jay's Paradise Travels. You could also reach out to me through email. My email address is j.paradise_travels@gmail.com. That's jay.paradise_travels@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to me either one of those ways. Love to be able to help you with that. Thank you again for listening to this podcast. If you did enjoy it, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Share it with others. My goal is to be able to make this world a happier place, one vacation at a time. Love to do that with you as your travel agent or with your family, friends, anybody else as their travel agents as well. So please feel free to like it, subscribe, share, all that good stuff that helps keep a podcaster going, as well as myself this is a business I'm trying to continue to build up for myself and my family. All right, thank you again for listening, and I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye bye.